Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paripradukacharya Ashto Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Now, again, buddy, the person who was going to set me up here hasn't set me up. Person who was going to set me up here hasn't set me up. All right, let me just be in a different place. And again, let me switch devices. And my apologies for the slowness of the affairs. Krishna, Krishna. Okay. Due to the weirdness of connections, we're just going to use the telephone, and that should be okay. And we're moving. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi.
Yes, I did.
Maharaj, we lost you, if you can hear me. Seems like everybody, almost everybody anyways, lost you. If we have trouble getting Maharaj back.
Yeah, we're closer to the router now. We're hoping that things will work. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Shari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And if there are questions and comments, if someone could relay them to me, Kendra Prabhu, if you could do that, because on my phone I can't navigate that. As I recall, we're in chapter 2, text 5 of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, and we're in the midst of the purport. The text says, Yadadvaitam Brahmopanishadi Tadapyasya Tunu Pa Ya Atmantar Yami Purusha Ikisto Shamsha Vibhava Shadaishvaryai Purno Yahiha Bhagavan Sasvayam Mayam Chaitanya Krishna Prayati Paratatvam Paramiha. And we're again partway through the purport. And we've discussed that Lord Chaitanya is the impersonal Brahma and the Paramatma, or rather that Krishna is non-different from the impersonal Brahma and the localized Paramatma. These are simply different features, incomplete realizations of Krishna. It's Krishna from Jnanamadvayam, the same absolute truth, but not fully realized. So, yeah, you're on the steep side. So now, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, CC 2:4, I believe was the number, in the midst of the purport. And
Aye.
2:5, huh? Did we? Yes, 2:5 in the midst of the purport. So Krishna is not different from Brahma and Paramatma. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya is also not different from them because he's not different from Krishna. He's Krishna himself in a different feature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Sí, tengo que usar el teléfono porque la conexión allá no está funcionando. Favor de mirar, buscar en mi cuarto y ver si hay un termos con agua.
Termo con agua. Ok, perfecto.
Pienso que sí.
¿Ya regresa?
Hare Krishna. But now we're continuing, and you'll see where we are, about 2/3 of the way through the purport, I think. Furthermore, Lord Chaitanya is also the master of all wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, because he is Sri Krishna himself. He is described as Purna, or complete. In the feature of Lord Chaitanya, the Lord is an ideal renouncer, just as Sri Ram was an ideal king, Lord Chaitanya accepted the order of sannyas and exemplified exceedingly wonderful principles in his own life. No one can compare to him in the order of sannyas. Although in Kali Yuga, acceptance of the sannyas order is generally forbidden, Lord Chaitanya accepted it because he is complete in renunciation. Those who are others cannot imitate him, but can only follow in his footsteps as far as possible. Those who are unfit for this order of life are strictly forbidden by the injunctions of the Shastras to accept it. Lord Chaitanya, however, is complete in renunciation as well as all other opulences. He is therefore the highest principle of the absolute truth. This reminds me this reminds me of a relevant incident in 1968 at 26 2nd Avenue. Rukmini Devi had asked Srila Prabhupada a question after his Bhagavatam class in the evening concerning how Lord Chaitanya manifests all six opulences. And Srila Prabhupada answered. But then the next morning, he began the class. I forget whether it was like a class he extraordinarily called or whether it was a scheduled class, but in any case, there was a class, and Prabhupada began the class not with reading Shastra, but with answering Rukmini's question. Your question, Rukmini's question, about how Lord Chaitanya has manifested 6 opulences. And Srila Prabhupada went through 5 of the opulences. Lord Chaitanya was very beautiful. In Kali Yuga, people were after fair complexion, and Lord Chaitanya appeared in fair complexion. Similarly, he was very learned, Nimai Pandit. Prabhupada, in that way, went through 5 of the opulences. But then he said, but his real opulence was his renunciation. And then Prabhupada said what he said here, that no one could compare to him in that opulence. He had a very affectionate mother, a very affectionate wife, goddess, like the goddess of fortune, and a very affectionate mother. He was the only son, and yet he left everything to accept the sannyas order. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya especially showed Lord Krishna's opulence of renunciation. So, and Prabhupada, of course, elaborated on this further, but I'm just giving what I remember. So not even I can say the gist of it, but what I remember of. So let me turn back to the text. By an analytical study of the truth of Lord Chaitanya, one will find that he is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. No one is greater than or equal to him. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:7, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidaspi tananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there's no truth superior to me. Thus, it is here confirmed that there is no truth higher than Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Gracias. Hare Krishna. ¿Qué es esto?
Bolsas para la basura.
Gracias, gracias.
To the trash.
Yo estoy encargado aquí.
Ah,
Gracias, Hare Krishna. The impersonal Brahma is the goal of those who cultivate the study of books of transcendental knowledge. And the supersoul is the goal of those who perform the yoga practices. One who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead surpasses realization of both Brahma and Paramatma, because Bhagavan is the ultimate platform of absolute knowledge. This, of course, we've discussed many times, that the impersonal Brahma is realized by the philosophers, the Paramatma by the yogis, and the personality of Godhead by the devotees, who are the most capable students, or most capable among those who want to understand the absolute truth. Bahunam janmanamante gyanavan mam prapadyate. Mata paraturam matanya. They can understand Krishna. Bhaktya mam abhicharanti. The personality of Godhead is the complete form of Satchidananda, full life, knowledge, and bliss. By realization of the Sat portion of the complete whole, unlimited existence, one realizes the impersonal Brahma aspect of the Lord. By realization of the Chit portion of the complete whole, unlimited knowledge, one can realize the localized aspect of the Lord, the Paramatma. But neither of these partial realizations of the complete whole can help one realize Ananda, or complete bliss. Without such realization of Ananda, knowledge of the absolute truth is incomplete. Again, Srila Prabhupada is giving cardinal siddhantas of Krishna consciousness. This verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrta by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is confirmed by a parallel statement in the Tattva Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. In the 8th part of this Tattva Sandarbha, it is said that the absolute truth is sometimes approached as impersonal Brahma, which, although spiritual, is only a partial representation of the absolute truth. Narayan, the predominating deity in Vaikuntha, is to be known as an expansion of Sri Krishna. But Sri Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the object of the transcendental love of all living entities. Just going to travel here and close the door. So this is, again, a complete understanding that Lord Chaitanya, that Krishna is the complete and perfect manifestation of the absolute truth, and that Lord Chaitanya is that same Krishna appearing before us again. Okay, any comments or questions here?
Yes, Maharaj. Oh, Vijay Krishna posted a question.
Okay, tell me. There I see it. If Krishna lives in my heart as the supreme friend, well, maybe you can read it to me. The phone is not the thing.
If Krishna lives in my heart as the supreme friend, the super soul, why Lord Chaitanya dismisses the worship of the super soul in order to establish the love of the gopis for Krishna Shamasundar as the most perfect type of worship?
Lord Chaitanya doesn't dismiss the worship of the super soul, but he indicates that one has to go higher. The super soul realization is realization of the sat and chit aspects of the absolute truth, but we don't get ananda, the blissful reciprocations of love found in the personality of Godhead by the gopis or Nanda Maharaj or Krishna's servants or anyone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, he's not satisfied with worship of the super soul because it's incomplete, it's partial, and particularly because Lord Chaitanya comes to this world for the internal purpose of relishing Krishna consciousness, devotional service in the mood of the gopis. So if we stay on the super soul platform, we're not going to get any of that. No gopis, no Vrindavan, no Govardhan Hill, no attractive pastimes, no attractive, the most attractive form of the Lord in Vrindavan will also not be seen. So Lord Chaitanya is not going to fulfill his inner purpose by talk of the super soul. For that matter, his external purpose will also not be satisfied because Srila Rupa Goswami says he's come to give Ujjvala Rasa, the shining relationship of conjugal love with Krishna. But that relationship is not to be found with the super soul. So Lord Chaitanya wants to preach not impersonal Gyan or the goal of mystic yoga, but the ultimate experience of love of Krishna, Prema Pumartha Maha. That's only available with the personality of Godhead. Anything else here?
Maharaj?
Yes.
Obeisances. So my question is, and it's probably a misunderstanding on my part, but it says here, In the purport, Narayan, the predominating deity in Vaikuntha, is to be known as an expansion of Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the object of the transcendental love of all living entities. So I understand they're non-different, but at the same time, I'm also wondering, well, does Narayan have the same aspect of sweetness exhibited by Krishna? And if we're looking for the most complete thing and the most perfect thing and the highest thing, even though I'm no way qualified to consider my own rasa, or my own swarup or anything like that, still intellectually, I think, well, I want the highest and the best and the most perfect thing. But we're also told that we each have our own unique relationship, and some are in one kind of rasa and some are in other kinds of rasa. So I'm trying to reconcile all of those together, because Narayan, you don't have Madhurya Ras with, correct?
Correct.
But some devotees are in relationship with Narayan.
Yes, and therefore their relationship will be dasya. Their relationship will be dasya. Or Srila Prabhupada someplace says the lower portion of sakya may also be available. So first of all, for Lord Narayan's sweetness, he does have sweetness. The personality of Godhead is sweet, even in his form as Narayan. But his sweetness is really, what would you say, a minor feature compared to his grandeur. Or his sweetness is appreciated. We're in awe of how sweet he is, or how beautiful. He has beauty, but it's viewed with awe. How beautiful he is. He has personal features, but they're viewed with admiration, with awe, with reverence. Whereas with Krishna, one directly engages with these features, which are more fully manifest. The sweetness of Krishna is, I believe, one of the 5 qualities mentioned as being unique to or actually, no, that's it, one quality and manifested 5 ways. That they would, so on. The sweetness of Krishna is beyond comparison. With Narayan, we don't find this degree of sweetness found in Krishna. So that's the first thing. The rasas, how you get to which rasa and so on is sort of beyond our scope here. Some Vaishnavas have taken the position that rasa is cultivated by a particular, that devotees aspire for a particular rasa and so develop that. Srila Prabhupada takes the position that the rasa is inherent in every living entity, that it's already there. In any case, we're given, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had some associates who were Ram Bhaktas, Murari Gupta, and the younger brother of Rup Sanatan were in a relationship with Lord Ramchandra. And Lord Chaitanya appreciated that, although Rupa and Sanatan tried to persuade Anupam, their younger brother, to come to the point of Krishna, devotional service to Krishna. He couldn't do it. He was sold out to Lord Ramchandra. The same for Murari Gupta. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated, yes. This is very good. But we're encouraged, Srila Prabhupada encouraged us to seek our eternal relationship with Krishna. How the eternal fact of that works is beyond my level of competence.
So to clarify, when it says that Sri Krishna is the object of the transcendental love of all living entities, if they are in love with him, whether as Ram or Narayan or whatever, it's based on their capacity, their taste, whatever. Right. Right. And
even if I'm in love with my wife, ultimately it's Krishna that I love, but
right.
that love is being manifested through some temporary or manifested towards some temporary representation of Krishna's energy.
With regard to the
at least on the bodily platform.
With regard to the expansions, can we also say that it can be that perhaps, I'm speculating, I'm asking you for clarity, that Krishna also enjoys to engage with his devotees in these different manifestations, and it's not just sort of like a limitation or a boundary because the devotee is
Oh gosh, no, Ram, and I have to reciprocate with Hanuman and Krishna. Oh man, I'd rather be in Vrindavan playing my flute. No, Krishna's completely satisfied in the as Ram. He's, as we say, into it. He has a heroic spirit. He's eager to deal with Ravana and give him his just desserts. He's absorbed in reciprocating love with devotees like Hanuman and Vibhishan and so on. It's not an unfortunate obligation that he somehow assumed because his devotees have stuck him with it. He enjoys reciprocating with his devotees in any relationship. It may be more fuller manifestation when he reciprocates in Vrindavan, but he's the supreme enjoyer. He's always the enjoyer. So he enjoys the love of his devotees in all different relationships. Akila Rasamrita is the reservoir of all relationships. So Praveen is asking about Lakshmi. Does she only have Dasya? Isn't Madhurya there? It's there after all. She's his wife. She's depicted mainly in serving, which is what wives do. But it is a relationship of husband and wife. But that's reserved for Lakshmi. It's not that others are allowed in on that relationship. Not that. Similarly, yes, in the Ram Avatar, parenthood is there, but we don't hear that Lord Ramchandra accepts others' parental relationship. He accepts Dasarat, he accepts his mother, but they don't seem to have followers who are also aspiring. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, not Lord Chaitanya, Lord Ramchandra, when the sages of at Naimisharanya wanted to have a conjugal relationship with him, he said, well, wait till I come as Krishna, then I can reciprocate. But in this avatar, that's not what I do. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Anything else here? Shraddha Devi asks, are these Sandhini? Well, that appears on my screen and disappears. And I'm sure there's a way to get it back. But okay, it's called more. Chat 16, okay. Are the Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini potencies equivalent to Sachit and Ananda? Are they different terms referencing the same three potencies, or is there a distinction? Yes, they are the same. Sandhini, the Sandhini potency exhibits Krishna's eternal existence. The Sambit potency manifests his knowledge, and the Vladini potency manifests his pleasure. When we speak of Satchidananda, usually we're referencing the existence, the knowledge, the pleasure. And when we speak of Satchit Ananda, then we're speaking of these potencies, Sambit, Vladini, Sandhi. Apurva asked, were those sages not at the Dandakaranya forest? They were. Thank you very much. Naimisharanya didn't sound right to me. So thank you, Apurva Kamalini, for getting us on track with that. Yes, it's the Dandakaranya forest. Okay, let me close the chat window. If there are no more questions, we can, yes, we have time. We can move on to the next verses. Oh, one question above by Saraswati Mata. Okay, let me go back. I see that is. Okay, are some bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas focused on different rasas with Lord Krishna? For example, the Pushti Margi's goal is Vatsalya Bhav. Yes, in fact, all of them are, generally speaking, focused elsewhere. It's, as far as I know, exclusive to Lord Chaitanya's Sampradaya that the super excellence of Madhurya Rasa is aspired for, takes center stage, as it were. In Pushti Margas, as you say, it's really Vatsalya Bhava. Child Krishna is the object of affection and worship. But with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we get, what is that? Ramya Kastrid Vasana Vrajavatu Vargena Yakopita. We get full appreciation of the loving relationship of the devotional service rendered to Krishna by the gopis. The Pushti Marg, as it were, shies away from that. They fully appreciate the rasas up through Vatsalya, but they don't really go, they don't like to venture beyond that. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes us further. Therefore, we find in the conversation with Ramananda Roy, if there's something more, you can take us further, So that's found only with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. Yes, thank you for that. Okay. And let me adjust the size of my type, which has drifted in the wrong direction. Okay. But in the meantime, other things. So, Brahma Atma Bhagavan Anuvadatin Anga Prabha Angsha Swarup Tin Videyachi. Impersonal Brahma, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead are three subjects, and the glowing effulgence, the partial manifestation, and the original form are their three respective predicates. What is it that we find in the impersonal Brahma? What are we talking about when we look at the Paramatma and the personality of Godhead? So Kaviraj Goswami likens these to subjects and predicates. Anuvada age pache viteya sthapan she artha kahi shuno shastra vivaran. A predicate always follows its subject. Now I shall explain the meaning of this verse according to the revealed scriptures. So I would have to go back to, it's hard on a Kindle, my goodness, it's hard, to the original verse under discussion. But the Kaviraj Goswami, yes, Advaita Brahma Panishadi Tadapyasya Tanupa. Okay, we have the impersonal Brahma, and what is it? It's Tanupa. It's the manifest, it's the effulgence of his own body. Tanupa, Tanu, effulgence, means body, and Pa, effulgence. And what is Atmantaryami? What is the super soul, the Antaryami of that Purusha? So does Asya. If you got to hear that, that's a little feature also found in New York, that people like to rev up their cars and make a lot of noise and establish their importance. So what is that Antaryami? He's Asya Angsa Vibhava. He's the manifestation, a partial manifestation of Krishna. Asya means his, Krishna's, Angsha Vibhava, partial manifestation. That's what the super soul is. And Sadaishvarya Purna, Yo Iha Bhagavan Sasvayam Mayam. And the full manifestation of six opulences is the personality of Godhead. And Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. So again, Kaviraj Goswami is digging into his verse, explaining the points made. This grammatical reference, by the way, he also invokes when he's explaining the verse Krishna's to Bhagavan Swami. This point about the subjects and the predicates. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, Vishnu Padatattva, Purna Jnana Purnananda Parama Mahatva. Krishna, the original form of the personality of God, is the summum bonum of the all-pervading Vishnu. He is all perfect knowledge and all perfect bliss. He is the supreme transcendence. This is summarizing, as it were, points already made, and Kaviraj Goswami is going to take them further. Nanda Sutta Bali Jare Bhagavata Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai. He whom Srimad Bhagavatam describes as the son of Nanda Maharaj has descended to earth as Lord Chaitanya. Let's see. Yeah, the Chakravarti's verse also begins. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya, the worshipable personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Purport. According to the rules of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature, a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. The Vedic literature frequently mentions Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and therefore these three terms are widely known as the subjects of transcendental understanding.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Aquí le traigo los zapotes.
Gracias. Estoy dando un clase ahorita.
¿A dónde entran?
Sí, sí. Hare Krishna. Someone has brought some chicos. So it's not wide. What is not widely known is that what is approached as the impersonal Brahma is the effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental body. Nor is it widely known that the Supersoul, or Paramatma, is only a partial representation of Lord Chaitanya, who is identical with Bhagavan himself. Therefore, the descriptions of Brahma as the effulgence of Lord Chaitanya, the Paramatma as his partial representation, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as identical with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, must be verified by evidence from authoritative Vedic literatures. The author wants to establish first that the essence of the Vedas is the Vishnu Tattva, the absolute truth, Vishnu, the all-pervading Godhead. The Vishnu Tattva has different categories, of which the highest is Lord Krishna, the ultimate Vishnu Tattva, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Vedic literature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described as Nanda Sutta, the son of King Nanda. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Nanda Sutta has again appeared as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he bases this statement on his understanding that the Vedic literature concludes that there's no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This, the author, will prove. It is thus proved.
Hola, buenas.
Hare Krishna, buenas.
Vengo a yoga.
Para yoga, bueno, pero yo no estoy encargado aquí, yo no sé dónde son las claves y todo. Bienvenido, pero aquí hay otra persona que puede ayudar.
Gracias.
Es sencillo, solo que tiene que abrirlo. But simple para mí, solo tengo que entenderlo. Bienvenido. So this the author will prove. If it is thus proved that Sri Krishna is the origin of all tattvas, truths, namely Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Hare Krishna. If it's proved that Sri Krishna is the origin of all tattvas, namely Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, that there's no difference between Sri Krishna and Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will not be difficult to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the same origin of all tattvas, same absolute truth, as revealed to students, as he is revealed to students of different realizations. It's called Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. All right. So we're at 6 o'clock, and it's time. As I found out, I'm sitting at the door that gives admittance to the yoga classes that will begin now. And I'm also giving separately a class on Bhagavad Gita. So we'll end here, but as people are gathering on this side, we'll sleep. Hare Krishna. As people are gathering for the class, I think we can end with kirtan. Thank you for the thank yous, which flash again. Across
Did you say it was? Did you say it was 6 there, Maharaj?
Yes, it's 6 o'clock here. 2
Panchatattva
hours.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Nishpad Rajacharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kunratha Kundiri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Gangamayi Ki Jai, Jamadamayi Ki Jai, Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. So, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
Well, thank you to all kindly taking part this evening.
Muchas gracias, Maharaj.
Muchas gracias. And
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.